Today, the discussion will be a little bit philosophical, but I'll try to make it as practical and pragmatic as possible. Oftentimes, people say that, I have been successful because I really work hard, or I have been successful because my parents, inculcated very good values, or sometimes people claim that they are extremely intelligent, and because of sheer smartness, they get success. While what people say may be true, and there is no shortcuts to success. People do have to play strong, they have to work hard, they have to study, and typically you will see this holds true for many people. But if you start like peeling the onion, right, as they say it in the philosophical sense, it will be becoming abundantly clear to all of us that many of the things just happen by sheer luck. In fact, I would say pretty much everything happens through sheer luck, and that makes me believe that our destiny is already pre-written. And while I don't have any fixed proofs to confirm what I'm saying, but there are specific instances that happened throughout my life, and what I've observed across after living in multiple continents and countries. I also discuss it with my wife quite deeply, and both of us now conclude that essentially we are just being some actors. We are being played by someone else. Someone else controls our threats. Else controls our destiny. Example that we discovered that my wife got a stage 4 cancer on 30th of August 2024. That has actually made us go through multiple emotions with denial, stress. I would not deny that we didn't go through all of those stages, right? So we did. But after having accepted the fact that this is what our destiny is, because we were going to the hospital for the last 1 year because she was pregnant, and even after being right under the noses of the doctor, even observing that lump was developing in the breast, still doctors denied it, even though we mentioned to the doctor, please have a look at it. They never bother to check it, right? And now we have to deal with the stage 4 breast cancer that has metastasized to the bones, spine, pancreas, liver, etc. And as per the medical science of today, there is no cure for it. They can only manage the problem, and it will basically, whatever life is left, it is going to remain forever with us. That's what doctors are saying. But on the other hand, we have seen cases of Sanjay Dutt, who was a grave alcoholic. He was a drugster, and he did every vice that was possible on earth. And he also got stage 4 liver cancer, and he declared himself cancer free just a couple of years ago. He seems to be doing fine. Sonali Bendre was another heroine that got breast cancer, which was again stage 4. Got detected in 2018, and I think in 2022 she also declared herself cancer free. So these are just more recent examples, and like because we ourselves are going through this episode of cancer, it's not that only at this point of time that we have thought that life is like a journey of twists and turns, and primarily we don't control any of it. In fact, none of the work, none of the actions that we take are controlled by us. I mean, this is a recent example, but if you see, I had made a podcast about a year back, which was about karma and destiny and free will. I would encourage you to look at it. Again, there I kind of said that we are debating with these questions many times when we talk with a lot of people, etc. But what becomes abundantly clear at this point of time is the more deeper I think, the clearer it becomes that we are not controlling anything. So let's start with the birth, right? Like we have tried to basically get pregnant almost 4 times actually in the past 10 years, and only 2 times we were successful, 2 times we were not. So we had 2 miscarriages in the last 4 years. Not 4 years, I would say, in the last I would say 7 to 8 years, and two successful births, right? So those successful births resulted in the birth of my two kids. One basically in 2019, and the other one more recently in 2024. But then we were pregnant in 2021 as well, which resulted in a miscarriage, and we were pregnant in 2017 as well, which also resulted in a miscarriage. So you can say our success rate is 50% from that perspective. Do we have answers for that, like as to why we had a miscarriage, or could we have done something different? We have no answers for that. We consulted doctors all the four times. We were taking precautions all the four times. Uh, by God's grace, pretty healthy people, both me and my wife. In fact, my wife is even more healthier than me. Uh, we don't have any kind of cholesterol, diabetes, any kind of thyroid disorders, or any kind of hormonal disorders or lifestyle disorders, etc. Both me and my wife, and in fact, my wife is extremely healthy. She practices advanced yoga. Given all those things, we still definitely got miscarriages. My elder son, who was born in 2019, is very active, very strong, very beautiful child. My son that born on June in 2024 this year is also very active, very beautiful, smiles a lot. So, and both of our kids have happened in advanced ages. I mean, we were already in late 30s, early 40s when we have conceived both the children, which from a typical standard point of view is already too late to have children at that point of time. So again, as the luck would have it, or the destiny would have it, we have perfectly healthy boys. Both of them are doing incredibly well, so we're very happy for that. I would also like to quote, I have made another podcast, The Happiness Journey of My Own Life, wherein I described about how stressful it was for me to graduate in 2020, sorry, 2003, almost 21 years back as I look at it, and struggle for getting my first job and like going from there from places to places all the way up, right? Even at that time, it was very frustrating when even seemingly companies that are like easier to get into rejected me, whereas one of the toughest company at that point of time, which was Hughes, which would be very very selective, I got selected there. Whereas in a seemingly less selective companies such as TCS and Infosys, I actually got rejected. So when I summarize my life, right, my journey, and then I also look at the companies that I work, whether it is Amazon or Oracle or Yahoo, Hughes, or even many other companies that I work with, like whether it is Walmart or Indeed or Capital One Bank, etc., or working with multiple different startups such as Flipkart, Rakuten, Kopang. What becomes very clear to me is that across the journey that I have had, I can never basically tell for sure why a certain thing works versus why the other thing doesn't work. I mean, whatever I speak, whatever I do is within the ambit of the kind of intellect that has been given to me. And again, I can't, give myself the, benefit that this intellect is uh, my created thing. It's like a gift, right? I was born to middle class parents in India, in Delhi, and then throughout my journey, my mindset was to be like frugal, trying to make best of the circumstances that I had, and that allowed me to continue to be extremely motivated in being very efficient. How I deploy my time, how do I basically study, what do I pursue, making smart choices. I think even though those were the actions I was taking, the fundamental ingredients for having me do this was already cooked up in my DNA. So the kind of thought process I will have, the kind of personality I have, where I'll be born, how long I'll live, what kind of ailments will have, what kind of body type I have. This is all predetermined. I mean, there is nothing that I can change about it. Actually, the way I look, the way I talk, etc. Many people say that you can, train and learn things, etc. The fundamental aspect is your mind will be such that whether it can be trained or not is also predetermined. Some people people are easier to train while others are not. I belong to a category where if I am not self motivated, I can't learn anything. Even if no matter how much the other party kind of trains me, I can't be trained. It, to certain degree, even my wife is the same way. She cannot be trained either, and that's how it has been. But have we not done well for ourselves? I would say we have, for a middle class family, we have done exceedingly well, and we are very lucky to be, sitting here in the U.S., being U.S. citizens here, have done rather extremely well for ourselves actually. Probably the point I would like to make here is that many times we give credit to our attributes such as how do you basically join like tech sector, how do you grow up in your career, etc. And we attribute those things to us, like our education or our thought process and things along those lines. But the fact of the matter is that we are just pursuing the path that has already been predestined and predetermined, and knowingly or unknowingly we are just following that. In fact, even the circumstances in which we are put are already predestined, and because our thought process and our psychology works in a certain way, in a given situation we always react in a particular way. That is also again very well defined by our DNA. So I think, can we say that the DNA has been formed by sheer randomness? The whole universe that is out there is sheer randomness, because there is a school of thought that claims that everything that exists is just a random, like randomness of elements coming together to form certain thing. But then the question then arises, if that's everything is so random, then how come we see so much of life and energy and flora, fauna on the planet Earth, but we don't see similar things on other planets such as Saturn or even on Moon, etc. It is being claimed that there are billions and billions of galaxies. Milky Way is our galaxies, but there might be, millions of Milky Ways, etc., in the world as well. So it's very very difficult to basically tell exactly how they interfere, why they exist in the first place, how they are forming. I mean, if you look at the science, right, science itself changes from time to time. At a given point of time in most Western religions, especially Christianity, it was understood that Earth is the center of the universe, and Sun, Moon, and everybody else rotates around the Earth. In fact, even in Islam, it is supposed to be Earth that is flat; it is not round, and everybody else basically rotates around Earth. Whereas in Hinduism, from the very starting, it was mentioned that Earth is round and there are multiple planets, and it basically rotates around Sun. But I mean, apart from the religious dogma, I would like to still point out that now the recent research is that we have multiple dimensions, and then we have multiple galaxies and maybe billions of them, and universe is continuously expanding. When I was studying, we studied about Big Bang theory, that the universe started from a Big Bang. There was like a small mass which was very very dense, extremely dense, and it just basically collided in itself, and there was a big bombardment and expansion. And a part of that expansion is what formed all the uh, you know galaxies and planets and asteroids and meteors and things like that we know of today, uh, which was formed maybe trillions of years ago. And as a result, when some of these asteroids and rocks and gases, etc., again, like interacted with each other or collided with each other, forming solar systems and other kind of planetary systems. But nobody explained, like, from where did that specific, the first dot or the first dense mass came along. Like, who created that? Like, how did it even exist? Why did it burst, which resulted in all these different galaxies and stars, etc.? So nobody seems to know the answer to that. In fact, like, even like if I take cancer as an example, and I always use cancer because this is the most recent thing that has happened with us. Nobody really understands what cancer is and why it happens and what the reasons are. We have known a lot of people who smoke, eat non-vegetarian food, have a very bad lifestyle, and they never have any kind of cancers and anything like that. And we know a lot of people who have a very sattvic lifestyle. They eat pure vegetarian food, they maintain very good health, etc., and they also get cancers. In fact, with all the medical advancement that we have seen, even now, most of the cancers go undetected. In fact, when you detect the cancer, it is already in the stage 4. Many times, many people, celebrities, in our case also, uh, we have only discovered it in the late stage. So point is this, that even with all the advanced researches, even sitting in the US, where seemingly we have the best hospitals and the best machines that are there, we do have access to cutting edge research, still we are able to miss those kind of silly things. That only points out when I try to ask our oncologist, what do you say, why did we get this cancer, what could be the real reason. Point is this, that she also said this is just sheer bad luck actually. That's all she could say. I think Satishta Qureshi is asking, are you a doctor? No, I'm not a doctor, but I will tell you that I do a lot of study. I have studied cancer quite a bit in the last few days. I'm not medically qualified doctor, but when it comes to our treatment plan, etc., I know each and every detail as to what medication is being given, what it can do, what are the prognosis, what are the differences. I have also interacted with 5 different doctors. I've talked to people who have shared me their own cancer journeys, etc. In fact, I was even thinking that I should probably prepare a documentary where I'll invite the testimonials of other cancer survivors or people who are undergoing cancer treatments at this point of time, so as to build awareness for the people that this thing can happen to anyone. Don't think that if you are maintaining a very good healthy lifestyle, or uh, there is no history of cancer in your family, then you cannot have cancer. uh, Point is very simple, right? Maintaining good health is in everybody's interest. Having a more vegetarian or vegan diet which is dairy free is again in the best interest of a lot of people. But again, for me it is easier to say because I was born in India, in a vegetarian family, so we never touched any kind of meat or alcohol or smoking, etc. So we don't know any better. That's what we have ate. And even after migrating to US or living in Japan, etc., we never picked up non-vegetarian food or egg or smoking or alcohol and drinking and things along those lines. But as we see right now, vegan food has become all the rage. In the last 10 years or so, lot more availability of vegan foods is available even in the US, and many people are going towards plant-based diets, etc. That's a trend that we have seen. So from a diet perspective, what I do, I think Saishta Qureshi is asking dieting tips. Primarily, right, from our perspective, what we do, and again, what is working for us may not work for you. So everyone has to make their own decisions and choose what is the right thing for them. But what I can see is when we break up for the breakfast, we try to have heavy breakfast. So when I say heavy, in the sense that I tend to have some protein and carbohydrates in the morning itself, because we are vegetarians. So we basically go with the Indian flatbread or roti as they call it. And since wheat is not very good for our body, we try to mix the whole wheat flour with various different kind of millets. So we use ragi, that is known as finger millet. We also use jawahar, that is known as sonogram, and then we also use bajra, which is known as I think pigeon millet. That's what it is called. We use all those millet flour mixed up with the whole wheat flour to prepare our fat beds in the morning. We put clarified butter or ghee, desi ghee as they call it, on the rotis, and then we eat it with some kind of a lentil or a beans. So whether it is yellow lentils or green lentils or red lentils or black lentils, or different kind of beans like kidney beans, pinto beans, and things along those lines. So one kind of protein, and other is like flatbread. Generally, that's what we have in the morning, or we can sometimes have sprouted moong, or sprouted moat, or other kind of lentils that are sprouted, and we put some ginger and lemon and onions and tomatoes and some green chutney, things along those lines. Uh, Point is this, that that's the kind of food that we are basically eating in the morning. In the afternoon we try to have like one vegetable, and again either flatbread or rice. For rice, again we try to experiment with red rice, or sometimes even try quinoa. So those are some of the things that we do. And essentially for like sabzi, we can like mainly for vegetable we can eat like cauliflower or cabbage, carrots, beetroots, or spinach, okra. There are various different varieties, broccoli. We sometimes also try like tofu, because it's a great source of protein as well. In the evening we try to avoid eating any kind of food. So generally it is just I try to take like mixed nuts, like roasted mixed nuts, or sometimes I'll add a hint of like maybe a soup or something like that. Those are some of the things that we try to follow. So I think food is very, very important for your own body. But again, each person is different. As I said, again, this is also kind of very heavily tied to your destiny. If you are having a good metabolism, then whatever you eat, you can consume it. It will convert into energy, and you will not put on a lot of fat. But if your metabolism is slow, again, it is defined by your DNA. Then even if you eat very less, you will feel bloated. Your body will not be able to consume that. You will gain a lot of fat, and it will be very difficult to cut the fat. So even your body structure, the way you eat, how you process it, and all is also defined by your destiny. I would have to say that. Shaista Qureshi, for one simple question, you are giving a long and long speech. You can just go to the point, right? By the way, thanks for the tips. You are right. I mean, this is one of my blind spots. I wouldn't say blind spots. This is something I am conscious about. I know that I speak a little bit longer and I could be much more crisp in the way I do. But sometimes, just for the easiness, for the clarity and simplicity of the people that are listening, I try to explain it in much more easier terms, so that it becomes easier for them to understand what I'm saying. Even then, I get a lot of questions where people misunderstand what I have said or what I have spoken. So apologize that my answer was not short and it is a little bit longer. And I'm trying to work upon it as well to keep my answers very straightforward, short. But I think the main topic was here, if you see, is do we really have free will? And my answer to that is, after like spending so much energy with the different people, companies, and experiencing, is no, we don't have any free will. Why I'm doing this podcast, why I'm answering these random questions that are coming through from no seemingly unknown people that I have no connection to, because I like it. And why I like it, again, it is part of my DNA. That's the way I am. That's what I like. And again, this like and dislike is also predefined. It's not something that I've come to liking it now. That's the way I have been all along. So essentially, anyone who thinks that they are the reason for their success, or when parents tell that because of us you have become this, is completely, lunatic, I would say. In the same family, like if I talk about, my own brother is very different from me, and his career journey has been very, very different from me. And if both of us were born to the same parents, and our parents gave all the same facilities to both of us, why did both of us not land into equal level of caliber and equal level of intellect, and would have reached the equal level of heights? Because point is, each of us have our own destiny, each of us has our own ways. So no matter, even in the same circumstances, we both kind of landed in a different direction, and in a different lifestyle, in a different career trajectory as well. So that's what I think is very important that we need to know. There are other things also that I can give as an example, that right now, for the 1.5 years, my business is not being doing well, even though I'm focused on artificial intelligence, which is at this point of time the only area which is receiving a lot of funding. Unfortunately, I am not receiving that. Similarly, all the customers that I have had, uh, they kind of start dropping like flock of cards one after the other over like 2023. uh, so, and it is it happened such a fast pace that by the time we hit 2024, our revenues completely got depleted by that time, right? And this is the story of multiple other people that I know of. The good part is that we have always maintained our funds. We have done some sound investments in the past, and again, maybe the destiny had it that way, that even now with all the downturn and all the revenue decline, etc., we are still able to maintain our lifestyle in US as we used to do earlier. So we are not feeling the pinch of the, you know, financial issues, at least by God's grace, at this point of time. But would I want to be in this same life where my revenues are completely down and I continue to sustain the way I am? Probably not, right? That's not no way of living. You need some kind of energy and growth and things like that. So for those reasons only, I want to relocate back to India. In fact, if any one of you have been hearing my podcast regularly, by seeing what was happening in India, especially around environmental degradation, the kind of level of crime that was going on there, had me double minded, that I had decided that probably I'll just go in India for visiting and not stay there. But with this recent episode where we discovered cancer and how the doctors have progressed here and dealt with this problem, now my mind has again shifted to basically see solace in India, because I'll tell you that here in the US, I have been trying to, get a cook for the last 1.5 month, and I have not been successful in even getting a single person to show up to our home to cook for us daily. On the other hand, I have also been trying to bring in a cleaning person to my house who can at least show up once in a week to do a good clean up for my house. They came in for 2 weeks, but from the third week onwards, again they also start showing their colors. So even paying like them $100 to come and clean up my place, I'm not able to basically bring anybody here. So services in US are extremely difficult, right? So again, these kind of things are also pushing me that, why did we even earn money for, if I can't even use my money to get services when I most require them. In At least in India, if I were to go back, I can hire like a cook, I can hire a cleaning person, who can come on daily basis, do the dishes and everything like that, without even have to thinking twice about it. Those services and facilities I can get in India like very easily. Similarly, on the healthcare side of thing, here we had a lot of mishaps that happened where, first of all, the diagnostic for cancer didn't happen, and second of all, once we knew that there was cancer, we couldn't get the biopsy done for at least next 10 days. And even after getting the biopsy done for 10 days, we again had to wait another 10 to 12 days just to get the results for the biopsy. Had this been in India, I'm sure we would have done the biopsy right away. We wouldn't have spent any time there, and even the treatment plan would have started like rather quickly. So those are my lessons that I have learned here after spending almost 15 plus years in the US. And again, I wouldn't say I have not learned anything. I have built all of my wealth here in the US. I have got a good environment in which I'm making this podcast here in the downtown park right next to my house, and it's a great weather right now. So those are all the beauties of the US, right? So I'm not discounting that, but at the end of the day, in certain areas, especially the education, the healthcare, and overall service delivery in US is extremely poor. And for those reasons, India trumps. And again, by God's grace and by my luck, we have the money to spend in India, wherein we can buy these services and probably live happily. And at this point of time, that is a requirement for us to be like have good medical health care, being able to have access to different kind of doctors, being able to quickly get appointments and get the treatment that we require. And also, as we grow older, right, we need services like cooking and cleaning and taking care of our household and things like that. So those reasons are prompting us to move to India, even though there are a lot more opportunities here in the US, but we'll have to make a choice either way. So for now, our choice is again tilted back towards India, and we're just waiting for my wife to regain her strength, because she's very weak through her bones, and according to doctors it can take up to like an year for her to again be back in the same shape. same set of strength. But surprisingly, after the chemo, like almost three chemo sessions have happened, it seems like myself seen her recovery has been little less than a spectacular, like nothing less than a spectacular, I'll have to say. uh, while she was completely immobile on the bed and with under a lot of extreme pain, right now her pain levels have also gone down quite a bit, and she started kind of moving around the house as well. So just the ability to move around is a big leap from she was completely bedridden and not being able to take care of our small baby. So now it feels like, I think in the next 2 to 3 months, maybe towards the end of the year, I think she will be up and running. I mean, she has made a motto of herself that in next 2 months she should be standing on her feet, being able to run and jog and exercise. That's what she's saying. But even if like she is not able to do that in next 1 month or two, I'm thinking by the end of this year, she should get her strength back and regain the strength. This will enable us to fly back to India, though it's going to be long haul flight. So we want to make sure that she doesn't break other of her bones and regains the strength back. So we are positive that that is going to happen because the worst is behind us. Like, we had to go through this as well, but maybe this was also our destiny. But I think we are looking forward to a bright future ahead, where we come even more closer as a family and focus on things that are right for us. So I am going to leave it on this note today that we don't have the free will, even if the impression is such that we are making those choices, etc. Because sometimes our brain it has already made a decision. It's just that its manifestation takes time. In fact, there is a research, you should check it out, wherein it says that an experiment was being done where people were given choices, and they had some electrodes set up with their skull, where they were measuring the signals as to when a person takes decisions and how the decisions are made. And what was the outcome of that research was that the decision in the brain has already been made, like close to half a second or even few seconds earlier. It's just that the action is taken a little bit later. So that proves that there is a like a hardwired circuitry in the brain that is already making the decision, or the unconscious mind is already making those decisions. It's just the actions are being taken by the conscious mind, but the unconscious mind is already making those initial calls. So again, the research is not conclusive, and it's not widespread, and it's not widely accepted by everyone. But just by my own personal experience and talking to different people and how things have happened in my life, I'm certainly believing that uh, you know uh, we don't control anything, neither our brain, neither our speech, neither our actions. Everything is happening because we are trained, we are built in a certain way, we take actions in a certain way. Even our circumstances happen in a certain way because it is already predestined. That is why you'll see some people are very good in astrology, just by the sheer your name, date of birth, etc. uh, you are able to determine as to what the course of your life would be, what are the turn of events that your life would have. People are able to get those answers. So again, I'm not going to portray like pseudoscience saying that you should all follow astrology. But the point is that there are very few people who understand astrology, because it is based upon mathematics and numbers, and you do predictions based upon that. So sometimes those predictions may not land right because you have not interpreted it in a correct way. So one has to be a very good learned astrologer to really make use of the astrological knowledge, and interpret it in such a way that you can understand and give you the right direction as to what is going to happen, etc. So I will leave today's here on this point that we don't actually have any free will. Whatever is happening based upon our DNA, and it's all predestined. And we don't even understand like how RNA, how DNA works, or why certain things happen in a certain way or other way. All we try to do is try to make sense of whatever has happened in the past and connecting those dots. So with that thought process, I leave you for today. Have a great weekend ahead. Spend time with your family, eat right, eat. So when people are talking about dieting tips, I would say eat right is the half part, but the other half part is exercising right as well. Next is to sleep well as well. and keep your mental calm, mental peace as well. That is very, very important. If any diet has to work, it has to be in the combination of exercising, sleeping, and mental peace as well. So spend time with your families, enjoy your winters, and we'll meet in next podcast shortly. Till then, take care. Please like, do subscribe, and do write to us. Let us know what are other topics you would like for us to cover, and we'll